Good morning, everybody. I have something I want to read to you this morning. This is a trivia question of sorts. There are two people in the audience that know the answer to this. We'll see if your memory is jogged. It reads, in many ways, every event of the past has been like a stepping stone that led to this point in time. And it is the experience of the past that stirred within each of us a greater desire for greater life. It is the experience of the past that caused each of us to dream about this moment. Sound familiar to anybody? Nobody at all? Well, we'll just see how this works out. Hey there, how are you? Kathleen and George, this is from your wedding. Yeah, what year was that?
I don't remember. 96.
Well, it's good to see you two together. So once upon a time in a faraway land, a man was crossing a field of tall grass. It was in the darkest part of the night. There was no moon in the sky. There was no stars in the sky. It's just pitch black. And as he was walking through the grass, he heard a rustle of sorts off to his side. When he looked to try to find some sort of an image, he couldn't see anything at all. But he did hear very low, guttural growls coming towards him. So he assumed it was a tiger. And he took off running as fast as he could, not knowing where he was going, running purely into the darkness. And in his attempt to get away, he ran off the edge of a cliff. Fortunately, however, on his way down, he was able to grab a hold of a branch and stop his fall. So there he was, in the middle of the night, not being able to see anything around him, hanging from the branch. Now, he wasn't a religious man. As a matter of fact, he kind of bordered on atheism. But he thought, why not? I don't have a lot of options here. I'll pray to God. So he prayed, "Dear God, save me. I don't want to die." And there was a booming voice in the sky that said, "Let go of the branch." The man began to think about it a bit. He thought, God doesn't care if I live or die. God isn't going to help me. God just wants to be through with me, so he wants me to let go of the branch, but I can't do that. It's once again, "Dear God, I do not want to die." And God said, "Let go of the branch. Everything will be okay." But the man didn't. He continued to hang on. His arms became tired and weak. He was in a great deal of agony and pain, but he held on and he held on and he held on. He was just about ready to let go when the sun started to rise and light splashed across the landscape. And it was then that he discovered he was hanging a foot off the ground. Now, I bring this up for two reasons. First of all, I can identify with this guy. You know, there's times when I'm skipping down the path of life. Everything is just grand. I don't have a problem. I don't have a challenge. Everything is good. And during those times, I don't think about God. Matter of fact, sometimes I even miss my daily prayers. If everything is good, what do I need? But then I run off my own cliff of sorts, and I find myself out on a limb, and I wonder, what am I going to do? My options are limited, so why not pray to God? Dear God, take this cup of suffering from me. Dear God, save me. Dear God, do this. Dear God, do that. And when that little voice within my head says, just let go, it'll be okay. Like the man hanging from the cliff, I doubt those words of wisdom. And I continue to hang on, I continue to suffer, I continue to be in a great deal of pain and agony because I can't let go of this one thing. I can't let go and let God. I cannot trust God enough to be able to just let go and let God. And why is that? I'm sure many of you can identify with the same thing. Why is it that we have such a difficult time trusting in this God that is the essence of all being, that is everything? Why do we have a difficult time trusting that God? Well, it's very simple. The God that I've come to accept as being the God isn't believable. It is something that I have never seen, I have never heard. I can't even sense. I've heard sermons, I've read scripture, I've listened to many other people pontificate about God, but it's not an image that I can really grasp. Let's take a moment to just take a look at this God that most of the major religions adhere to or abide with. And it is an old man, long white beard, long white hair, sitting on a golden throne somewhere in the far off reaches of the sky, looking down, seeing everything that is happening at once. And this God has a furrowed brow, a disappointed look in his eye, and a very stern face as he goes down his checklist to see who's doing right and who's doing wrong. This God is a punishing God, and it's a God that is not really eager to come to the help of those who have messed up. Yet he sits out there waiting for the final judgment day when our existence here is complete, at which point he'll determine whether we are ushered into heaven to sit on his right hand or if we are going to be cast into hell for an eternity of tortuous existence. How do you trust in a God like that? It's like having a father that you never know when he's going to hit you or yell at you or something. In a lot of ways, growing up, I thought I'm better off without that God. I don't need that kind of discipline, that kind of regimentation. I don't need that kind of obedience. I can be a good person on my own. I don't need that God. Because for me, it's not believable. I don't believe that there is somebody out there sitting on a throne. And so to pray to that somebody, pray to the God definition that I've received, I don't do it with my heart. Now, ever since the beginning of time, people have invented God in an image that is helpful to them, a God that will serve them. In the very beginning, it was the sky God. The sky God was greater than it all, greater than everything on earth. It was greater than anything in the universe. It was the sky God that expanded everywhere presently. Then when agriculture came into being, the sky God evolved into the mother goddess of the earth. The one that made the lands fertile, the one that allowed the food to be raised, the one that fed everybody everywhere, the mother goddess of the earth. And that did for a while. And then we move into the Greek period where there's multiple gods. You'd pray to the God of courage when you went into battle. You'd pray for the God of power when you went into the hunt. You'd pray to God of love when you wanted to have harmony within relationships. It was like a Baskin Robbins with 48 different flavors of God. Whatever you want at any time, you just pick the one. And that God was there. And then about 6,000 years ago, a new God was invented by Abraham, and it kind of came back to the one singular God, the one omnipotent God that was over everything. And that's the God that religion pretty much holds to today. The God that is out there, invented 6,000 years ago. But think about how everything else has evolved in the last 6,000 years. Think how science has evolved. Think how medicine has evolved. Think how technology has evolved. We have cars, planes, and automobiles. We have medicines, cures, and remedies. We have technology, cell phones, internet. We have all of this stuff that has evolved over the last 6,000 years, if not the last 100 years, yet we are still living pretty much with this same image of God as the old white man on the throne. looking down at us with a revengeful twist to him. Now, why hasn't that evolved? It's very difficult for me to believe in that at this point in time, but if there's nothing else to take that God's image, what am I left with? Well, we know for sure that there is a power, there is an energy, there is a spirit everywhere present in the universe. There's no place that the scientists can't go and they can't find this energy. I call it spirit. The spirit of existence, the thing that made everything come into being. Then there's life itself. Beyond existence, there is life that comes up from the earth. And that life is everywhere present. That could be God, the life force. The greatest experience we can have in life is love. No matter what kind of a bad time you're having, no matter how difficult life becomes, no matter how big the problems or challenges, it doesn't make any difference. You can always find something to love. And when you do, there is a feeling that comes over you and you are one with God. So we have God as a life force, we have God as love, we have God as existence, but we have to make a shift from thinking that God is outside of ourselves, that God is an almighty ruler on a throne. We have to shift from that, and we have to move to experiencing God within us, experience our life as a force that is bountiful, experiencing love as an incredible experience, and know that God is within us. But how do we do that? It's like a fish that was raised in water, never knows what water is. It can't distinguish water because it has never been outside of water. So water is everywhere. You could say water is that fish's God. Water is everywhere, but it has no sense of it. And it's the same thing with us. We know what God is, as far as God being life, God being good, God being love, God being all those things that create within us a uprising of the spirit and well-being. But we continue to look out there. We continue to look at evidence for God someplace, somewhere. We continue to pray to God to take away our problems, our challenges, or to save us, or to bring back somebody, or to find somebody. Yet we forget that God power is within us and it connects us to each and every one of us. We are God that is growing and that is evolving. And as soon as we make that shift, we begin to see the world totally differently. It's not out there with people out there, but it is us as a part of that whole thing. When I was a young boy, I can remember sitting in Sunday school class and having my Lutheran Sunday school teacher talk to me about God and talk to me about Jesus. And at that time, I bought it hook, line, and sinker. I was 4 years old. It was kind of fun in a way. God is up there on the throne. Wow, that is so cool. And then as we get a little bit older in confirmation, we talk about our unworthiness and our sinfulness and how sorry God is because of his creation that went wrong. And so that added on a bunch of guilt and a bunch of shame and a bunch of other things that turned me away from that God. So I don't need a God like that. I can be an atheist. I don't have to believe in anything if that's the way God's going to be. And then I just believed in God altogether. And then all of a sudden I get introduced to Unity, and Unity provides for me this new feeling of God. It's not a thought of God. I can't define God with words and phrases, but it's a feeling within that made all the sense in the world. Suddenly my life had purpose, my life had meaning. I didn't have an enemy out there that was going to punish me and cast me into hell, but I had the Spirit of God within me, and every one of you has that same thing. It's moving inward and just experiencing that sense of greatness about yourself and knowing that you're an expression of God, just as every single ray of the sun is an expression of the sun. So as we move into meditation today, I just want you to try to suspend whatever concepts you've had of God. And I know many people in here have been abused by God through the church. Many people here have given up on God because it seems to be a myth or some sort of a fairy tale. Some of you have been slammed over the head by God through a preacher someplace that demanded you do something, or accused you of doing something that was unworthy. Suspend all of that and go to your heart and just feel a sense of being alive. Feel that sense of knowing that in a given moment, you have that Spirit within you and it provides for you every single thing that you need to move through life and continually move to a higher level of well-being. So move into meditation now. I invite you to make yourself comfortable. Take a deep breath, slowly exhale. We'll now move into the silence. Where is God? God is in the silence. God is the love in your heart. God is the kind word in your mind. God is the compassion you have for others. God is a life force in which you thrive. Take a moment to think of somebody in your life that you dearly love. They may still be with us, or they may have made their transition, but as someone that was very, very special in your life, and feel the love that you have for them. Feel it deeper and deeper. Love. That's the experience of God. Living life in a kind and compassionate way. That's the experience of God. Trying the best you can to understand those people who do wrong, and coming to a point of forgiveness That is God. Now slowly begin to come back to this time and this place. And bring with you a new idea of God, a more personal God, a more loving God, a more caring God, a God in which you never can be separate from. God is the essence of your being. And so it is.
There is a God. There is a God. There is a God I know. There is a God. There is a God. How do I know? How do I know? All the love we share, all the love we share, all the love we share tells me so. There is a God.
So we come to the time to come together for offering. And I'm so deeply grateful for each of you and your generosity that we're paying it forward for the next person that comes in the door and is needing a place to find their own sense of God and Spirit. So we have this opportunity to hold our offering in our hands and to bless it with the offering prayer. You can say out loud with me, divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I give and all that I receive. And so it is. Amen.